I dare you to make a fungus Saproling deck work in Modern. Day 2 of asking Harry to prove that you can win in Modern with funguses / Saprolings. Day 5 of asking Harry to obliterate Modern with a steal Modern. Day 20 of asking Harry to Day 25 of asking Harry to deceive Modern. Day 32 of desperately asking Harry to make this fungus thing happen in Modern. Genuinely, I did not want to do this challenge, and that's because all of the Saprolings legal in Modern are absolutely terrible. How are these things ever gonna get through the Greaves, Furies, Solitudes, even just general Planeswalkers in the format? I was completely stumped. And that was until I came across a forum post from 2018. Here was a rubbish Saprolings deck, but I found this 4-mana enchantment. For 3 and a green, all forests and all Saprolings are 1/1 green Saproling creatures and forest lands in addition to their other types. At first, you might be thinking I'm crazy saying this is Modern playable, but you need to read it again. All forests. So if I can get a Yavimaya into play, this enchantment, and play Plague Engineer naming Sapling, I will wipe all of my opponent's lands. Now you might be wondering, that is a lot of cards to assemble the combo. Well, if I play 4 Chord of Calling and 4 Profane Tutor, and then loads of powerful 1-drops and 2-drops in Modern, as well as sprinkling some Saprolings in there to keep the theme going, I think we can actually do some work with this deck. And if you stick around for this whole video, you'll see it. To start off the first game of this video, we have an amazing opening hand. While we only have green sources in our lands, Ignoble Hierarch will give us black mana on turn 2 to suspend this Profane Tutor. After leading with Ignoble Hierarch, the opponent doesn't have a removal spell because they're playing Tron. This is good for us because we have an extremely quick start to the game, and we can easily destroy all of their lands before they can assemble Tron if things go correctly. Now it doesn't feel great that I have to play the Yavimaya on turn 2 because now I've given them green mana without having to play a forest or one of their chromatic spheres. So hopefully fixing their mana with this Yavimaya won't cost us too much, but we are just trying to get out a fast kill. Now it's not looking great for us because the opponent gets to cast an Ancient Stirrings, play another Tron land, and an Expedition map. This leads us to draw a Chord of Calling off the top of the deck. So next turn we can actually kill all the opponent's lands, but I'm extremely scared of them assembling Tron here. And then I realized a second. If we play Life and Limb, it turns all of my opponent's lands into creatures. So if my opponent has the Urza's Mine next turn, that will have Summoning Sickness and they won't be able to tap it for mana. This means that they're limited to a maximum of 5 mana next turn, and they most likely won't be able to do anything with it. So it's just gonna slam the Life and Limb here and hope that they don't get to do anything, and then we can untap and try and Plague Engineer. With the opponent just sacrificing Expedition Map for 2 mana and playing their Summoning Sick Urza's Mine, we need to remember we have Profane Tutor coming off Suspend. So that's gonna get a Plague Engineer, we're gonna play that, and now we are going to destroy all of their Tron lands, and the opponent is dead. Going into boarding, we need all of the quick, aggressive cards to disrupt the opponent and try and prevent them from assembling Tron. I think boarding in Force of Vigor is also sensible, which I will do if there is a Game 3. Going into Game 2 though, I think this opening 7 is a mulligan. It's just way too slow, and an Orcish Bowmaster is not enough pressure to attack the opponent down. I would much rather keep this opening 6 because I have a Yavimaya and Life and Limb, so it's more likely we can kill the opponent by destroying one of their lands. Don't forget this Thalid can sacrifice 1 Saproling to destroy an Urza's Tower, Mine, or Power Plant, which will slow down the opponent a lot if we can even get there. Being on the draw against Tron, I wasn't feeling too hopeful anyways, because they should just kill us really quickly. A Plague Engineer off the top here is powerful but not amazing, as we do need some sort of mana dork to fight the opponent having a quick draw. If they are a good Tron player, they should have Tron on turn 3 here. This is when they play an Ancient Stirrings, a second Tron land, and we just have to play our Thalid and pray because we couldn't find a mana dork. But with the opponent playing an Expedition map and a Boseiju, now we have a chance to win the game. Because here we can play Plague Engineer on turn 3, name Saproling, and if the opponent does not remove the Plague Engineer on their turn, or assemble Tron and play a big bomb, well, I can play the Life and Limb and destroy all their lands. So here I was praying that the opponent would have nothing. It's a stretch, but it's possible. But sadly, with the Dismember, Karn the Great Creator getting a Liquid Metal Coating and removing one of my lands on my upkeep, there wasn't really much I could do here, especially since if I played the Yavimaya, the opponent would kill it with the Karn, so it instantly removed all of my outs. Fortunately here, we got to go to Game 3. Let's save some time on this earth. We mulligan down to 5, and just the draws don't get there. Against Tron, we really need these quick, aggressive kills, and just not having enough ways to assemble our combo definitely was rough. The opponent had a very slow draw though, because they leaned on a Dismember in their opening hand, so there was a glimmer of hope. But let's be real, I didn't get there. Now I want to show you a massive punt I made, and this is something that a lot of you might not see. I'm sure there's a lot of pros in the YouTube comment section that would have known better than me here, but this is going to be interesting. On my opponent's end step, I have Court of Calling for X's3 to go get that Plague Engineer, and we're hoping they don't have a removal spell. This is because I have the Yavimaya in play, Plague Engineer named Sapling, then we can slam Life and Limb and destroy all their lands. Karn and the One Ring is definitely a problem here, but definitely beatable if we can destroy all their lands. So after the opponent draws a card with the One Ring, and I name Sapling with the Plague Engineer, they cast a Sheoldred's Edict to make me sacrifice my Delighted Halfling. Now, with a Yavimaya off the top, we can just slam our Life and Limb and not worry about this too much. Now here as well, with the Spore Crown Thallid in hand, we can turn all of our lands into 2/2s, so we can attack through this Mind Stone that they plussed with their Karn the Great Creator. Now here's where I make a massive punt. I play the Yavimaya in my hand. Now, the problem here is, this Yavimaya would have Summoning Sickness, but because of Life and Limb turning it into a creature, I don't know if this is a bug, I don't understand what happened, but all of my creatures now, or all of my lands, aren't forests anymore, and this means all of my opponents aren't forests anymore. So, is this a bug? I don't know, but the Yavimaya just turned into a land, and all of my lands weren't forests? Someone explain what happens to me in the comments, but this is a massive punt, clearly, because now all lands aren't forests, so I don't know. I ended up losing this game because they got access to black mana, which lets them cast an Orcish Bowmaster to keep their Karn the Great Creator on the table, and the One Ring would have won them the game. I kinda just tilt conceded here. A very weird spot. Now you clicked on this video because this deck can kill on turn 3, and it actually can. But before we get into the next game, I just have to ask you, have you ever been assigned something at work by your boss, and you tell them you're going to do it on a specific deadline, and on that day you wake up and realize you haven't done it, so you kind of half-ass the job, and you get it 90% done, and you just submit it and hope the boss doesn't notice? Well, that's this game. We have the nut start here with a turn 1 Delighted Halfling and a turn 2 Plague Engineer naming Sapling, and the opponent not having a removal spell for any of my creatures. The third land that we find off the top of the deck, we can slam Life and Limb, destroy all of my opponent's lands, and they instantly lose the game. This Chalice of the Void on 1 also doesn't do anything, because our third land is the mana source that we need. Wait, sorry, let's skip this draw step. Turn 4, we find the land. That's essentially a turn 3 kill, because if we drew the land the turn before, they didn't have a removal spell. It's a turn 3 kill, I promise you, not clickbait, please don't dislike. Yeah. Through the power of editing, we did win this game. But do you want to know how many matches I've won at this point? Yup, 0. This deck was a ton of fun designing. The playing part, I'm not too sure. I was definitely destroyed a lot of the time. Overall, if you enjoyed this 05 Domination Nation Best New Deck in Modern, buy this over Rakdos scam, then don't forget to like and subscribe. And please, can we stop doing these asking Harry to do XYZ challenge? They're very painful.